What happens when the league that already bleeds $40 million a year quietly drafts dismissal letters on All-Star Weekend, just moments after its brightest names storm the court in matching black tees screaming, "Pay us what you owe us." Cameras flash, fans gasp, and somewhere in a back hallway, an owner allegedly mutters, "They're done." Welcome to the night the WNBA's showcase became a televised game of chicken. Players on one side, the front office on the other, and a stack of rumored pink slips smoldering in the middle. Stick around, because if even half of what insiders are whispering is true, this protest may have just lit the fuse that ends an entire All-Star era. They filed onto the floor like a single wave. 22 stars, every jersey hidden under the same stark message. Brittany Sykes hoisted a homemade sign. The crowd roared its agreement, and the scoreboard clock hadn't even started. Those 6 words, "Pay us what you owe us," hit harder than any crossover, because everyone in Gainbridge Fieldhouse understood exactly who they were aimed at. The league's owners, the NBA's subsidy machine, maybe even Commissioner Kathy Engelbert herself. 2 days earlier, a marathon bargaining session had crawled to a halt with zero progress and a Halloween strike deadline looming. By tip-off, frustration had curdled into theater, and the shirts were the opening act. Rumor moved faster than the national broadcast. Less than an hour after that photo flooded social feeds, several beat writers claimed that legal counsel from 2 franchises had already drafted suspension memos, pre-discipline notifications, in league jargon. Should any sponsor pull its money, no official would say it on record, but one veteran reporter tweeted that the documents even bore the word "dismissed" in red. Could it be true? Nobody could confirm, yet the whisper alone was enough to set X, formerly Twitter, ablaze. In a league where every contract is guaranteed for the season, the idea of a mid-year boot felt nuclear. Still, sources insisted the paperwork existed, locked in a shared legal folder, just in case. It was a rumor, but it might explain why a few normally outspoken stars were suddenly silent after the buzzer. The protest's timing was surgical. July crowds tune in for dunks and long-range bombs, not CBA white papers, but the players' new ratings were spiking thanks to one phenomenon: Caitlin Clark. Her rookie effect, triple-digit merch growth, 3-fold TV audiences, had handed the union leverage unseen in 2 decades. Yet Clark herself warmed the bench in street clothes, rehabbing an ankle tweak, while promos still plastered her face across every ABC bumper. For casual viewers expecting Team Caitlin, the bait and switch felt like a slap. By halftime, chat threads were already calling the broadcast a scam. On-court play barely registered. Defense? Non-existent. The league had resurrected the 4-point arc, and players treated it like a carnival stall, hoisting 45-footers with the urgency of pre-game warm-ups. Nafisa Collier's effortless 36, Skylar Diggins-Smith's video game triple-double, stat lines that would headline any other night, were buried under complaints that nobody bothered to guard the paint. The final score read like an NBA 2K practice drill, and nobody could remember who won. Instead, the timeline was drowning in a single meme: NBA checks with YMCA numbers. Outside the arena, brand managers scrambled. Ali, Samsung, and a handful of insurance giants had invested millions in new WNBA ad buys, precisely because the league promised non-controversial family content during its showcase. Now their logos floated behind a politically charged protest airing live on prime time. One marketing executive told Adweek off record that the shirts blindsided everyone and were absolutely not green-lit. Another hinted that bonus clauses tied to maintaining a neutral game environment could trigger clawbacks if sponsors believed the moment hurt brand sentiment. Translation: someone was going to pay, either in fines or lost dollars. Yet numbers don't lie. League revenue is finally climbing. Ticket sales have crept to early 2000s highs. A new media rights deal is rumored to top $2 billion. And expansion bids, Toronto, Portland next, then perhaps Philly, carry 9-figure fees. But the ledger's black ink is still theoretical. Last year, the W chalked up a $40 million operating loss, even after its parent NBA funneled cash to cover charter flights and marketing. The players ask? Keep the 50% revenue split the men enjoy, or at least move the needle north of the single-digit slice they currently pocket. To fans, that nuance vanished beneath a single t-shirt slogan. To owners, it sounded like a demand to spend money they hadn't earned yet. Inside the locker room, unity cracked. Reporters noticed that a few stars pulled their protest tees off before post-game availability, opting for team warm-ups instead. Whispers suggested at least 2 players never wanted the stunt, but feared being labeled disloyal. One mid-level vet allegedly told a journalist, "I got bills too. I'm not risking a suspension over a hashtag." Another rumor? Clark's camp had advised Team Caitlin to skip the shirts altogether, but peer pressure and a quick consult with the union rep kept the roster uniform. Again, none of that is confirmed. League security kept media at arm's length, but the tension was visible. Tight smiles, abrupt exits, and a post-game party conspicuously missing half the guest list. The backlash snowballed. Barstool clipped the warm-ups with the caption, "Self-own of the year." Fox ran a chyron reading, "League that loses millions demands raises." Even Clown World pushed the video, and when that account frames you as a punchline, the optics have spun beyond your control. Comment sections turned savage, cut their pay and see if they still talk. They should tip us for watching. One post, liked 78K times, simply read, "Can we pay them to go away?" And then came the Aiden Ross fiasco, pouring gasoline on embers. During a kick stream he sniped, "Only Caitlin deserves that shirt," sparking fresh outrage from across the sports world. His take was sexist, callous, and viral, racking up millions of views in hours. For critics, it confirmed the protest had backfired. Instead of elevating salary equity, it gifted trolls a new piñata. For supporters, Ross's meltdown simply underscored their point about undervaluation. Either way, the discourse was now pure mud wrestling, and the league sat helpless in the middle. Behind closed doors, Commissioner Engelbert's Saturday looked like a tape-delayed sitcom. At noon, she posed with stars on a red carpet, cocktails in hand, singing karaoke to Empire State of Mind. By midnight, she was reportedly fielding calls from owners demanding to know who authorized this ST and what fines are we levying. Multiple insiders say the league's legal department met at 8 a.m. Sunday to draft potential disciplinary frameworks. $10,000 team fines? 1-game suspensions? Nothing is official, yet. But the very prospect suggests a front office digging in. Players, meanwhile, are already hinting at boycotting preseason media days if punishments land. A standoff is brewing, and both sides now own matching nuclear buttons. Lost in the noise is the raw math of individual paychecks. The average veteran pulls between $120,000 to $180,000 for a 4-month regular season, plus playoff bonuses, plus marketing deals. Starters crack $250K. Supermax icons like Aja Wilson flirt with $310K, then double it overseas in the winter. Not poverty wages by any stretch. Yet, relative to the revenue they help create, still a fractional cut. And now that valuations put the Liberty at $450 million and a single expansion slot at $75 to $100 million, players argue the pie is finally big enough to share. The shirts, crude as they seem, were a neon arrow pointed at that number. Still, context is king. Women's sports endorsements soared 22% last year, and Fortune 5s are lining up to cash in on social media gold. But corporate patience can be thin. Sponsors love empowerment stories, not boardroom showdowns. If fines hit, if suspensions go public, if ratings wobble, those same partners will ghost faster than a last call Tinder match. That's the double-edged sword of visibility. 1 week, you're the feel-good growth stock. The next, you're a liability. The players know it, the owners know it, and no one can afford to blink first. And then there's that October 31st CBA deadline, a specter haunting every dribble. Miss it, and the union can legally strike. Hit it, and the league finally locks in an 11-year media windfall. The protest shirts were a shot across the bow, but if pink slip rumors prove true, we could jump straight to torpedoes. Expansion markets: Toronto and Portland for 2026, maybe Philly by 2030, hang in the balance. No broadcaster will cut billion-dollar checks for a league on pause. Fans sense the stakes. Comment threads keep tally of days left, like a doomsday clock ticking toward midnight. So where does that leave us? With a league more visible than ever, a star rookie who prints ratings from the bench, veterans tired of waiting for the payday they believe they've earned, and owners staring at red ink while valuations soar on paper. Add a protest nobody approved, sponsors who feel blindsided, and legal documents labeled dismissed, and you've got the most combustible off-season story in pro sports. Bottom line, somebody is about to write an enormous check, either to bankroll new salaries or to cover the cost of burning the house down. Question is, which side signs first? Drop your take below, smash that subscribe button, and buckle up, because the next headline out of WHQ might read lockout or level up. In a business where perception is profit, the only guarantee is that the bill always comes due. The only mystery left is who has to pay it.